Howdy, friend. Sam Houston here, hoping you're living in high cotton. And if you're lucky enough to be in Texas, I know you're most of the way there. Now enjoy your daily dose of Texas history and Texas pride.
Howdy, friend. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit podcast and your Texas History Roundup for January 23rd. In 1691, Domingo Terán de los Ríos was appointed the first governor of the Spanish region that included Texas. The region included Coahuila, Texas, and adjacent areas. In 1762, the mission and presidio of San Lorenzo de la Santa Cruz were founded on the Nueces River in modern-day Real County between San Saba and San Juan Bautista. The mission attracted 400 Apaches within a week, but the priests soon realized that their real interest was to be protected from the Comanches. The mission and presidio suffered two major Comanche attacks in 1766, and those attacks, along with the low prospect of Apache conversions, resulted in the mission being formally closed in June 1771. This was about the northern limit for Spanish missions in Texas. In 1841, the Texas House of Representatives passed the Franco-Texian Bill. It was proposed as an act to incorporate the Franco-Texian Commercial and Colonization Company, which would introduce 8,000 families and establish and maintain 20 forts for 20 years. The company would receive 3 million acres from the Republic of Texas in exemption from all taxes and tariffs by the settlers for 20 years. The bill was supported by Sam Houston, but opposed by acting President David G. Burnett, and never presented to the Senate. In 1875, Molly W. Armstrong was born in Bell County. She attended Baylor Female College and then optometry schools out of state. When she began practice in Brownwood in 1899, she was the first woman optometrist in Texas, and only the second in the United States. Armstrong practiced for 65 years until her death in 1964. In 1963, Ben L. Boynton passed away. He led Williams College to an undefeated season in 1919. As a sophomore, he was the first named an All-American, and as a senior, he was the nation's leading scorer. Boynton, who played 4 seasons of professional football, is a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And finally, in 1964, the poll tax was abolished by the 24th Amendment as a requirement for voting for federal offices. The tax, which is levied on adult males from age 21 to 60, was used for such services as public schools. It is often associated only with the southern states, but several northern and western states also levied the tax. In the South, it became a means to disenfranchise segments of the population during the Jim Crow era, following Reconstruction. In Texas, the tax was $1.50 to $1.75, or about $50 to $60 in 2022 dollars. However, the tax was retained in Texas in voting for state and local offices. It was finally officially repealed on November 2nd, 1967. You know, I'm not so much against a poll tax. What they really should have is some sort of kind of property proof, because look, if you give everybody the right to vote, then what's going to end up happening is what's happened now, where the majority of people who don't really even pay taxes are the ones who are voting for these politicians to create all this government spending and government largesse that's destroying the country. If the only folks who are allowed to vote were the ones that actually produce, that are productive members of society. You have to prove that you're somehow a productive member of society. You don't take, but you produce more than you take in society. I don't know how you do that, but that would be the proper poll tax to have. Things might be a lot different if only folks who put in and didn't only take out were the ones that were able to have their say. That could be a very unpopular opinion, but I believe that's the way it should be. I mean, think about it. Noodle on that for a little while. All right, well, that was your Texas History Roundup for January 23rd. Thanks so much for listening. We'll catch you back here on the next one. You take care.
Well, there you have it. If you like our podcast, check us out at feedbandit.com. There you'll find awesome Texas First outdoors gear and apparel. Your purchase helps support the bandits and keeps this podcast on the air, fighting for you and for Texas. Remember, preserve the tradition, protect the legacy. Until next time.